Good evening, Calvary kids, and welcome to Kids on Missions Online. I am so glad that you could join us here tonight as we continue to talk about missionaries all around the world. But remember, a missionary is just somebody who goes somewhere and tells somebody about Jesus. And this month, we're talking about missionaries in a very specific country. Who can remind me, what country are we talking about this month? That's right, the country of Indonesia. You'll see it coming up here on the screen. The country of Indonesia. We talked about last week how it's made up of over 17,000 islands that make up the country of Indonesia. How it's, if you put all those islands together, it's 3 times the size of Texas. How they have some of the largest lizards in the world. We talked about the Komodo dragons. And we also talked about how they have some of the most, they have the most volcanoes anywhere in the world, and just how an amazing of a country it is. It's a really amazing country, but one of the things that is a problem is the fact that on several of these islands, there are places where there are no churches and no opportunities for people to hear about the gospel of Jesus Christ. You'll see up here on the map, coming up here on the screen. This is a religious map. You remember all the islands with yellow on them? That's a place where they do have churches, where they do have access to Bibles, where they're able to hear about the gospel. And if you can see on part of the map, there's a lot of areas where it's covered in yellow, but there's also a lot of places where there is 0 yellow on the map. So those are places that have no churches, no access to Bibles, and may never have heard about how Jesus cares about them, how Jesus died for them, and how much Jesus loves them. And so missionaries from around the world come to the country of Indonesia in order to tell people about the gospel of Jesus Christ. And we're looking at a group of missionaries who are just average, normal people that were willing to come and just tell people the gospel of Jesus Christ. Tell them the stories that are found in the Bible. Will help provide them with needs and do whatever they could so these people would know that Jesus loves and cares for them. Now tonight, though, we're going to talk a little bit about how a missionary group gets to the country of Indonesia, because it's actually a little bit more challenging than you might think to get to some of the countries and some of the islands that are in the country of Indonesia. So who could tell me, what is this? Anybody have any idea what this is? It's an airplane, right? How many of you have ever flown on an airplane before? All right. For those of you who've flown on an airplane, what's the longest you have ever traveled on an airplane? I'll be honest, I've flown a lot, but I've never really flown that far. I think the longest airplane ride I had was like maybe 4 hours. So really wasn't that long. I know sometimes 4 hours can feel like an eternity, especially when you're a kid. If you're driving the car to like some relatives or something, if it's like 2, 3, 4 hours away, it can kind of feel like an eternity. But really, in the grand scheme of things, 4 hours really isn't that long. Now, some of you may have flown further across the country, and it's taking you a lot more time. But for me, I have not really had to fly a long way to get to wherever I was trying to go. But in order to get to the country of Indonesia, one of the things you have to do is you have to fly. There's really no other way you're going to get from the United States of America to the country of Indonesia unless you take an airplane. That's about the only way you're going to be able to get to this particular country because of all the islands and everything. I did a little bit of research. So the island that our group of missionaries that we're going to be talking about this month went to is an island, and I'm probably going to butcher the name, but it's the island of Palembang. Palembang, Indonesia. All right, it's an island in Indonesia. This is where our missionary group went. All right, so I looked up how long it would take for us, if we were here in Ball Ground, Georgia, in order for us to get from here, Ball Ground, Georgia, to Palembang, Indonesia. How long would it take and what would we have to do? All right, so here's what I figured out. All right, first of all, we would have to drive to Atlanta. So you'd have about a 45-minute, hour drive to the Atlanta airport. All right, once we got to the Atlanta airport, the fastest route we could take to get to this island in Indonesia, the first thing we would do is we'd have to catch a flight to a country called Qatar, and it is a 14-hour flight from Atlanta to Qatar. All right, so 14 hours, that's a long plane ride. You're going to be stuck on a plane for 14 hours. All right, then you'll come to a country called Qatar. You will have about an 8-hour layover in Qatar. Now, if you've never had a layover before, that's basically where you have to wait for the next plane to come. So you basically just sit around the airport and just wait on another plane, on the right plane to come. So you would have to sit in an airport in this country called Qatar for 8 hours, all right, waiting on an airplane. So right now you're sitting at about 23 hours. So basically an entire day you spend driving to Atlanta, flying on an airplane, and waiting in an airport. All right, and you're still not there yet. So next, you would catch a flight from Qatar to Jakarta, Indonesia. All right, so you catch a flight from Qatar to Jakarta, Indonesia. That is about a 10-hour flight. So you've already spent about 24 hours getting to Qatar and sitting in an airport, waiting. Now you're going to take another 10 hours and fly from Qatar to Jakarta, Indonesia, an island in Indonesia. There's no direct flight to Palembang, Indonesia. You have to go into Jakarta, Indonesia. So that's a 10-hour flight. So now you're up to about 33 hours already that you've taken trying to get to this one place. Once you get to Jakarta, you're going to have about a 3-hour layover there. So you're going to have to sit down, wait in the airport for about 3 hours, all right, in order to wait on the next airplane. So you're up to 36 hours. And then after that 3-hour layover, you can fly from Jakarta to Palembang, the island in Indonesia we're trying to get to. You can fly from there, and that's about a 1-hour flight. All right, so from here, from Atlanta to getting to Palembang, Indonesia, the fastest route you could take takes about 37 hours. 37 hours in order to get from here to Palembang, Indonesia, in order to go and tell people about Jesus Christ. And any team of missionary really in the United States is looking at about somewhere between 36 to 40 hours in order to go and get to this particular island where there's apparently only one church and only just a handful of people that believe in Jesus. Now, why do you think, now here's the thing, does 40 hours, 36, 40 hours, does that feel like a long time? That's like almost 2 complete days of doing nothing but sitting on an airplane and sitting in an airport. That's a long time. Why do you think, though, that missionaries would go through all of that hassle just to get to this one particular island? It's because they know how important it is for people to hear that Jesus loves them. They know how important it is for people to have access to their own Bible. They understand how important it is for people to know that Jesus died for their sins, that he rose from the dead. He wants to have a real and personal relationship with them. You know what? Even though I'm sure they don't like it, I'm sure it's a pain, I'm sure it's annoying, I'm sure that it's a very long time of sitting on airplanes, sitting in an airport, they know that it's worth it just so these people can hear the message, the good news about Jesus Christ. And they're willing to give up their time in order to be able to do that. And here's the thing, guys. We're not going to Indonesia anytime soon. But the truth is, there are a bunch of people here, right here in Ball Ground or Canton or Cumming, wherever you live, that don't know about Jesus or don't go to church or don't believe in Jesus. You know what? Sometimes we can take just maybe a minute, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes out of our day to talk to somebody about Jesus, or just take a second to invite somebody to come visit us at church. We're back open. We've got Sunday school. We've got children's church. Obviously, we've got Wednesday nights. And we want you guys to invite your friends to come and to have fun and to learn about Jesus. And one of the things we're going to be encouraging you guys to do over the next several weeks, on October 30th, we've got our fall festival coming up. And we're going to be encouraging you guys to invite as many of your friends as can to come out and just have fun at this fall festival. There's going to be candy, there's going to be prizes, there's going to be food, there's going to be hay rides, there's going to be blow-ups. It's going to be an awesome time. We're going to have an amazing time together. It's going to be a ton of fun. And I want to encourage you guys to be missionaries and invite people to come to the fall festival or to just come here to church. So that's my challenge for you guys this week as we begin getting everything ready for the fall festival. Take a few minutes, maybe at school, maybe at a ball practice or a club, whatever, and invite somebody to come to the fall festival on October 30th. Just say, hey, do you want to come and dress up in a costume and get some candy and have fun? Because we're going to have an awesome fall festival at our church. You know, when you guys do that, you guys are being missionaries. That's an awesome thing. So I want to encourage you guys, be willing to invite people. We're going to be handing out cards and stuff like that for you guys to invite people. But October 30th, our fall festival, I want to encourage you guys, just take a few minutes. If some missionaries can spend 40 hours almost getting to the country of Indonesia just to tell people about Jesus, we can take a couple minutes out of our day to invite our friends to come to something fun like the fall festival. All right? Now, before we go, we've got our Bible verse for the month. It's a very short verse going to come up here on the screen. And it says, love one another earnestly from a pure heart. 1 Peter 1:22b. All right? This is a real simple verse. Remember, if you can say this verse on Wednesday night to myself, to Miss Melissa, or any of the other adults helping out, we have a very special prize for you guys. You'll have a couple more weeks left of being able to say this verse. It's a short one. It's an easy one, so you guys should be able to knock this one out. Let's say this together on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Love one another earnestly from a pure heart. 1 Peter 1:22b. All right, I know you guys can knock that one out. No problem. One quick announcement before we go here today. Just a reminder, on October 18th, that'll be a Sunday night. We'll be having our family worship night. It'll be Sunday night, 5:30. We'll be having dinner. 6:30, we'll be having the worship service. It's going to be a great time. October 18th at 5:30. It's a family worship night. We're going to do basically a large version of children's church right here in the worship center. We're going to play games. We're going to do worship songs. We're going to have a lesson. It's going to be a great time. And parents, this is going to be an awesome time for you to see exactly what your kids are doing on Sunday morning. But you're also going to get a special small group time with me where I'll be talking about how children's church is going to be working in the future and just some of the ideas and the future planning that we have for the kids ministry moving forward as we finish up with our renovation projects and as we begin opening everything back up. So I want to encourage you guys, if you can, be here October 18th, 5:30. It's going to be an awesome, awesome time. But I want to encourage you guys, if you can, please be here for that. We're going to have fun, but parents, it's also going to be very informative for you guys. Guys, I hope you have a fantastic week, and I look forward to seeing you next time.